Dear students, today I am going to teach you the topic main memory. That is how the memory is being managed and controlled and coordinated by an operating system. Basically, the memory management service of an operating system is one of the basic services as it is needed to ensure the protection of different processes from each other and to place the program in memory. So the memory is central to the operation of modern computer systems, and memory consists of large array of words or bytes or each with its own address. The CPU fetches the instructions from memory according to the value of the program counter, and these instructions may cause additional loading from strings to specific memory addresses. A typical instruction execution cycle, for example, it first fetches an instruction from memory. The instruction is then decoded and may cause operands to be fetched from memory. And after the instructions has been executed on the operands, results may be stored back in memory. So the memory unit sees only a stream of memory address and it does not know how they are generated and what they for. Here, as we can see here, the two basic terms which is being highlighted is the base and limit register. So the in the base register, it consists of a smallest physical unit, that is the smallest address where the process has been allocated, and limit register is basically it tells the range that process requires for the allocation. So in this, the CPU must check every memory access generated in user mode to be sure it is between base and limit for that user. For the hardware address protection, this particular section where we can see is the CPU is the logical address space, and this section is the memory, that is a physical address space. And before allocation to the address in a physical address space, whenever the instructions are being fetched, it will first, that smallest unit is being stored in the base register, and according to the requirements of the size of the process, the size of the memory for the process, the information is being mentioned into the limit register, and then it is being opened and it is being placed in the physical address space. If the required address is not being available, then the trap is being occurred to an operating system, that is an addressing error. Similarly, the required memory for the process, if the size of the required memory of the process is not available, then also the trap is being generated. Address binding. The basically the steps which are being involved in its execution, that is, we know that a program is a set of instruction and each instructions get executed in a very systematic manner, and which is known as an instruction execution cycle. So the instruction execution cycle has three basic steps. It first fetches the instruction from memory, it decodes the instruction, and it gets the operand from the memory and then executes. The instruction gets executed and it is stored by the operating system into the memory. So the entire execution phase of a program divides into three parts: the compilation phase, loading phase, and run phase. As the address binding, the instruction and data to the memory address can happen at all the three different stages. In the compile time, the binding at compile time, it generates an absolute addresses and it requires that it must be known at the compile time itself, that where will a process will reside in a memory. The problem with this binding is that if there happens to be a change in storing the location of a process in memory, then entire process must be recompiled to generate the absolute address again. In the load time, in this case, the compiler generates a relocatable address, which are converted to the absolute address at load time, and the process cannot be moved around during the execution. And in this case, if there happens to be change in the starting address of the process, it can be accomplished by statically relocating the code. In the runtime, the method permits moving a process during runtime from one memory segment to another. This method cannot be implemented until a good hardware support is available and dynamic relocation is used to achieve. So we can see there are three phases or three stages: compile time, load time, and execution time. As in the previous diagram also, I introduced the two terminologies, that is a logical and physical address space. A logical address is the address of an instruction or a data used by a program, and a physical address is the effective memory address of an instruction of data. That is, it is the address obtained after binding of logical address has been done. The set of logical addresses used by a program constitutes the logical address space of the program, and the set of the physical addresses that is in main memory, which the process actually occupies, constitutes the physical address space of the process. These terms are used to formulate a virtual memory. And memory management unit in hardware devices that runtime swaps maps virtual to physical address space, and many methods possible covered in the rest of this chapter. But to start with a simple scheme, the value in the relocation register is added to every address generated by a user process at the time it is sent to memory. So the base register is also known as a relocation register, and the user program deals with logical address, that it never sees the real physical addresses. So as we can see here, the relocation register is being defined. The CPU generates a logical address space. In the main memory, the physical address space has been mentioned. But while the mapping or in a memory management unit, it basically maintains a relocation address, and its value is being stored in a relocation register. Okay. The address which is basically, in the simple term, the address which is basically generated by the CPU is a logical address, and which is not known to the main memory, and the physical memory or the main memory knows only the physical address. Therefore, the address generated by the CPU is compared with the limit register, and if the value is low, it is added to the value in relocation register to yield a physical address. In simple, the CPU can generate a logical address corresponding to the physical address range, where the value which is being stored, that is the range value which is being stored, is in relocation register. Next is dynamic linking. Okay, we all know that the shared libraries can be dynamically linked or a statically linked. In a static link, the system libraries and program code combined by the loader into the binary program image. And in dynamic linking, the linking postponed until execution time. And the small piece of code, that is a small subroutine, the stub is being used to locate the appropriate memory resident library routine. Here the stub replaces itself with the addresses of the routine and executes the routine. So in the operating system, basically it checks if routine is in processes, the memory addresses, and if it is not in the address space, then it is being added to the address space. So the advantage of the dynamic loading or a linking is that an unused routine is never loaded, and this method is particularly useful when large amount of code needed to handle infrequently occurring cases such as an error routines. So in dynamic loading, it does not require any special support from the operating system, and it is the responsibility of the user to design their program and to take the advantage of such method. So the operating system may help the programmer, however, by providing library routines to implement the dynamic loading. Swapping, a process that can be swapped temporarily out of a memory to a backing store and then brought back into the memory for the continued execution. The basically a policy of swapping is used for the priority based scheduling algorithm, and if a higher priority process arrives and wants service, the memory management can swap out the lower priority process and then load and execute the higher priority process. When the higher priority process finishes, the lower priority processes can be swapped back in and continued. This variant of swapping is sometimes known as roll in and roll out. Normally, a process that is swapped out will be swapped back into the same memory space it is occupied previously, and the restriction is dictated by the method of address binding, and if the binding is done at assembly or load time, thus then the process cannot be moved to different location. If execution time binding is being used, however, then a process can be swapped into a different memory space because the physical addresses are computed during the execution time. So the swapping requires a backing store, and the backing store is commonly is a fast disk. It must be large enough to accommodate copies of all memory images for all users, and it must provide direct access to these memory images. In the system, it maintains a ready-to consisting of all the processes whose memory images are on the backing store or in memory and are ready to run. Where the CPU scheduler decides to execute a process, it is called dispatcher. The dispatcher checks to see whether the next process is in the queue, it is in memory, and if it is not, and if there is no free memory region, the dispatcher swaps out the process currently in memory and swaps in desired process. It then reloads the register and transfer control to the selected process. Swapping is basically the constraints by other factors as well. If we want to swap a process, we must be sure that it is completely idle, of a particular concern is pending input output, and a process may be waiting for an input output operation when we want to swap that process to free up our memory. Currently, the standard swapping Currently, a standard swapping is used to few system, and it requires too much swapping time and provides too little execution time to be a reasonable memory management solution. Thank you.